Hey, welcome to this edition of The Hot Seat. I'm your host, Jeff Cawley, along with Jason Lowry. Today's guest is retired high school teacher, middle school teacher, Ellen Schunks. Ellen is being sponsored by a retro sponsor. Jason Cawley sponsored to put Ellen on, along with Sue Wilkie was his other sponsor that he put on. And the retro sponsor is the Outdoor Shop in Flat River, Missouri. So we will get started, put you in the hot seat here with some questions. I did reach out to some of your former co-workers in the English department and at the high school to come up with some good questions for you. So we'll start with some easy ones. What classes did you teach over the years?
Oh my goodness, I had 8th grade English, 9th grade English, 10th grade English, 11th grade English. I had creative writing, I had Shakespeare. I think that's it.
I think you're leaving out German.
Oh, in German. I forgot about German, yeah.
One of my favorites.
8 years of German.
One of my favorite things that you taught at the high school was you taught a summer school. You created a summer school class.
Yes.
Tell us about that real quick.
Oh, that was the best. No Fear Shakespeare.
No Fear Shakespeare.
Yeah, we would come in and we would treat the plays like scripts.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just let the kids be kids, do what they needed and be creative. And they would create the sets, they would create the props, and I would give them the script and they would do with it what they would. We had Hamlet set in a Star Wars theme. We had Othello in a brothel. We had Titus Andronicus, a bloodbath that we spent 2 hours mopping up the stage blood. It was the best.
I remember when you and I were talking about this
Yeah.
class, and I said, no one is going to take that class other than the cool name, and she made a liar out of me. And
Yeah.
actually, you got a lot of kids that had zero interest in Shakespeare,
Right.
zero interest in English,
Right.
that signed up, and that class ended up being one of the most requested high school classes
Right,
for summer
right.
school that we had
Yeah.
for several years.
They took it, they just wanted an easy English credit, and they loved it, and they would come back.
And they're learning along the way. They think they're just having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Question number 2, who's your favorite author?
Oh, William Shakespeare, no doubt.
Okay.
I love words.
What's your favorite Shakespeare play?
Macbeth.
Macbeth's your favorite? I'm a
Macbeth.
Hamlet guy.
It has witches.
Yeah?
I can
Okay.
identify.
Okay. You were famous at the high school for your Peep Cat cartoons.
Yes.
What inspired Peep the Cat cartoons? And tell us a little bit about that.
I don't know. I kind of like cats a little bit. You know, people who know me know I really like cats. And I found this app. And I thought, yes. And so if I just wanted to be silly, I'd make a Peep cartoon. If something pissed me off, I'd make a Peep cartoon. Can I say that?
The funny, yeah,
make a
you're
Peep
okay.
cartoon. Okay.
The funny thing about it was always when you released a Peep cartoon,
Yeah.
it was always to do with something that was in the news right then. It was really a
Yeah.
current affair cat cartoon.
Yeah, map testing was a good one.
Yeah, map testing was always fun for Peep. You know, Peep was the smartest cat, but did the poorest on the map test. It was always kind of fun.
And there was a litter box shot that went along with it, so yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about the romantic marriage proposal from the Godfather himself, Mr. Dan
Oh,
Schunks.
God, that man. I was teaching at West County, as was Dan. I was in my second year. We'd been dating almost a year, just a year and a half, too, and it wasn't seem to going anywhere. He was happy with it. I wanted to get married. So I kind of gave him an ultimatum. I said, you know, nothing happens by the end of the school year. I think I'm going to leave Missouri, and, you know, nothing was said. He was like, okay. And so it was New Year's Eve, and we said, you know, hit midnight, and I said, do you have any, he said, I said, do you have any New Year's resolutions? And he said, yeah. He said, I think I might look for a better job, and I think I might get married. And I said, oh, yeah, anybody I know? And that was it.
That was the proposal, huh?
That was the proposal, and I didn't say anything to anybody for 2 weeks because I didn't think he was serious. I mean, I didn't even to my mom.
Right.
And it wasn't until he mentioned it to one of the workers, street workers in Leadwood. And Mike came up to me later and said, oh, I hear you're going to get married. And I said, oh, am I?
Who's the guy?
Yeah. He said, yeah, Dan said so. And I was like, oh, I guess maybe we are.
Okay.
Right?
That's great.
And then a month later, he said, well, I guess you might want a ring.
Yeah. It usually goes hand in hand with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Begrudgingly.
This question was kind of difficult for me to write because I wanted to ask you about so many different aspects of that. When I started, you were on the interview committee that
Right.
interviewed me when I was hired.
Right.
You asked me at that time, you said you can have, you were the department chair. You said you can have the upper level advanced English, or you can have the at-risk students. And I didn't hesitate. I wanted
No.
the at-risk students.
Right.
You were doing a lot of the upper level stuff.
Right.
And that kind of became a staple there at the high school. I would have the at-risk early on, and you would have the upper level. And then later in your career, you made that shift, and Dan spoke of that earlier.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about that when you were making that shift. And I thought it's going to be so difficult for someone who's taught upper level their entire life to make this shift and be able to relate to kids. And again, you made a liar out of me because you were just phenomenal with those kids. One of the things that always impressed me, though, was that you would have those at-risk kids as freshmen and sophomores. Then you went in and fought to add a junior class, and they had to have that fourth English. And you would always ask me about April to come up and speak to your class
Right.
because you wanted those kids to transfer to my class. And that was a segue that I think you created for me to come in to speak with those kids, to make them feel at home
Right.
with that because they've been with you for 3 years,
Right.
and they were very reluctant to have anyone else. And I thought that was just so positive, the way you handled those kids, and you made it much easier on me because I would say, you know, and not to toot my own horn, but when it comes to getting in somebody's rear end about something, that was kind of my thing in class. But all I had to say was, do I need to go talk to Ms. Schunks about this? And it was whatever I have to do to straighten up. But the question that's in there is, you did something for these graduating seniors the last several years that you were there. Tell us what you did and how that came about for those graduating seniors.
I loved my at-risk kids. I miss them dearly. And they worked hard. School was hard for them. And I don't think people realize, well, you know what I'm talking about. School was really hard for them. And when they made it to graduation, that was a big deal.
Sometimes
That
first
was-
one in their family.
Exactly, yes. And that was a big deal. And it should have been made a big deal. And I made them a quilt.
Each one.
Each one, yes, I made each one a handmade quilt for their graduation gift, so that they could remember that, you know, there was a teacher, that they were more than just a student too. They were my kids.
Right.
For 3 years.
I remember one year, one of my last
kids.
years there, that you were there. I had 3 boys in class that
Yeah.
were over 6'6" and 300 pounds, and they kept saying, "When do you think we're going to get these quilts?" I mean, here are these grown men that were, you know, they were more excited about that quilt than they were that graduating diploma. So I always thought that was a great thing that you did.
Oh, I
so
loved them.
I'm glad you could
Loved those
touch
kids.
base about the quilting there. Tell us about a time that you left a faculty meeting after there was an announcement of lost keys.
Oh dear, John Crabtree. I was always losing my keys, and Eric Bryan bought me a key chain that said the keys I haven't lost, and I left him in the faculty meeting, and over the intercom for everyone to hear, it was, we have a set of keys that were found after the faculty meeting that say the keys I haven't lost yet. Thanks, John.
I remember that announcement.
Yeah, I do too.
Are there any former students that you're especially proud of?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Rattle off a
There's
couple of them.
so many. Jerry Willette. Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Your nephew Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my at-risk kids. I have one, she just turned 21. She has a job. She bought a house. She has a mortgage. And she just had her first baby.
Wow.
And she was one who had a reason not to do well. I mean, her home life was just heartbreaking. And she, by golly,
You made that difference for us.
she's amazing. She is such a incredible adult.
I know that a lot of people don't know this, and the administrators probably didn't know this, but you would come to me and other people from time to time and say, what can I do to help this person get a driver's license? how can I help them to get a bank account?
Right.
And you and I on several occasions would get books to help kids get their
Right.
driver's license, take them to the bank and help them get a bank account established.
Pay their family's electric bill.
Yeah, you've done so many of
Yeah.
those things over the years, and it shouldn't go unmentioned. Like many people in education, you've had a lot of jobs outside of education while you were teaching.
Yeah.
Tell us about a couple of those.
Oh gosh, I worked in a bookstore. That was awesome.
When Jason sponsored you, he said, that's the first time I realized that teachers were real people. He said, because I went to the bookstore in a little corner there in Maple Valley, and he
Yes.
said, there was Mrs. Schunks working
Yes.
in the bookstore, and I realized she's not just a teacher. She's really into these books. And
Yes.
yeah, so I
Yes,
always thought that was neat.
definitely.
And you worked, you did some reception work, I think?
I did reception work for a mental health provider. I worked in a gift shop. What else did I do? Gosh. When the internet first came, I was a company in Jefferson County, and I distributed their Internet Explorer CD
Oh,
to
yeah?
people for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing that ever happened in your classroom?
Oh my gosh, it was in Bonne Terre, and it was in the old high school building.
Mhm.
You know where because you subbed there.
Right.
You went there, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, the outside walls didn't meet the floor. And
Right.
there was like a 2-inch
2 or 3 inch gap.
around, and my kids like to drop papers down into the classroom next door that said things like "Help me," "I'm being held prisoner," things like that.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was kind of scary.
Other than your husband, Dan, maybe shouldn't have even put that part on there. Who did you truly enjoy working with? Because I don't know that you enjoyed working with Dan. I know you had to.
We had days, yeah.
Yes. But other than Dan, who did you enjoy, over the years, so many years, who did you enjoy working with? that
So
came
many, but
kinda
Sue
come along?
Wilkie's the first one that comes to
Sure.
mind. Oh my gosh, she's forgotten more about English than I ever knew.
Great teacher.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I learned so much from that lady. She was so much fun. So nice.
Okay. Who was I think I know the answer to this, but I'm not sure how you're going to answer it. Who was the funniest student you ever had in class?
Oh my gosh.
I'll give you a
There's
hint.
been so
I'm
many.
thinking of a young man that you told me you need to get this boy a haircut, and you dressed up like him on Twin Day.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Cody Satterfield.
Satterfield. Yes, he was funny.
I remember you guys
He was a joy,
You got the
yeah.
backpack that he had. You did your hair. That was when he had the fro.
The hat, yeah.
And the
mhm.
hat, and you guys, you followed him around
Oh,
class
my
every day.
gosh,
Just
yeah.
embarrassed him really well. So.
Oh, he loved it. He
oh,
loved every minute
yeah,
of it.
he was
yeah.
he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. He was really nice too.
Yeah, great
But
kid.
he was hilarious. I never knew what he was going to do or say. It
Right.
was the bros, remember the bros?
The Bros. Yeah, he had the bro clan, and I remember one of the girls. One of the bros got a girlfriend,
And they called her
he
Yoko.
he called her Yoko Ono because she's breaking up the band.
Bro, yeah.
I'll
yeah.
never forget that. But so remember, I told him, I said, you're going to have to get that hair. We teased him
Yeah,
about getting a
that's
haircut,
right.
and he said, if you'll grow a beard, I'll get a haircut. So I didn't shave over Christmas break one year. Came back in the very first day, and he said, oh man. And his dad and I took him to
Yeah.
Johnny's and got a haircut. I'm glad they didn't charge us by the pound that
Well,
they took
remember
off.
the day we were ready to leave and go drag his butt out of bed to get him to school?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he decided he wasn't going to come to
Comes
school that
down.
day, and we knew
Yeah.
where he lived. So
Yeah, you came in and said, get your purse, we're going.
yeah, we're rolling out. We're going to get him. Now that you're retired, I understand you have taken up Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, I have.
Tell us about your character.
Oh, my character is bloodthirsty. She's a tiefling with a bad attitude.
Okay. That's what I heard. I didn't know. And I'm not a
yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons person, so I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I've heard that
Yeah.
you're very, very involved.
Yes, very involved.
Okay.
And it's my Shakespeare training, I think, because I take, for my first kill,
Right.
I bathed in the blood, and the guys thought that was just really weird, and I thought, well, you've not read Julius Caesar.
There was a time at lunch when you had a static cling issue. You didn't think I was going to let this one slide.
Oh, I was hoping you would.
So I'll set the stage a little bit for you. You were sitting next to Terry Barron, who always sat next to me, which was a tough seat to have.
Yes.
and you two are laughing hysterically.
Oh,
And
my
I said,
gosh.
hey, I don't know what's going on, but you guys need to fill me in on this. Tell us what happened.
Well, a pair of my panties apparently had static cleaned inside my pants. And I looked down during lunch, and there they were on my shoe. And I wasn't going to say anything to anybody because it was a little embarrassing. And Terry looked down and saw him and just broke
Lost
up.
it.
And I didn't know what to do.
And
but
how long
laugh.
had they been there? We don't
Oh,
we don't
who
know.
knows?
We
I
don't
probably
know.
walked in
This
with
was
them on
this
my
was
shoe.
11:30 in the
Yeah, in the morning. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they never let me live it down.
Yeah,
It
that was
just
good. What was your favorite book to teach?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh,
Big Harper Lee.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Favorite character in To Kill a Mockingbird is it Scout? Is
It's
it
Scout.
Atticus?
Definitely Scout. Yeah.
Okay. Who would play you in a movie about yourself?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Roseanne Barr maybe.
Roseanne Barr. Okay. Definitely spunky enough to play that role.
Got that mouth.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
My biggest pet
Mm-hmm.
peeve. I absolutely hate it when teachers don't give kids a chance.
Oh, I think
I can't
that's
stand that.
a good one.
You know, it's not
Mhm.
always easy, but you have to.
Right,
You
right.
have to.
And we dealt with that a lot with our kids
our
because
kids,
you were
yes.
an advocate for those kids, not just
Yes.
in your classroom. You would
Yeah.
go to other teachers and say, hey, this boy works hard, this girl works hard for me, this is what works for me. Have you tried this? And it wasn't
Right.
you pushing your weight around as a senior teacher there. It was saying, this is what's best for these kids. And
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
respected that. That's a great one. All right, this is going to be a tough question for you. X-Files, Lost, or Fringe?
Oh my gosh.
You can only pick one.
Lost.
Lost?
Lost. It teaches life skills.
Okay.
It does. It's Lost. Yes.
Okay.
But that was tough.
Yeah, I knew you liked
Gosh.
all three of those.
Fringe was wonderful.
What was the best thing about being married to a band director?
He's nice. His creativity, his flakiness. They're flakes.
The flaky, yeah, I'm with
They're
you on the flake.
flakes. And you just never know. It's so funny and so unpredictable. So unpredictable.
Yeah, Dan is
Well, for example, I remember the first year we were married, there was a cat fight in our front yard, and he broke it up with a tuba. Went out and blew the tuba, and the cats went,
Where's Brandon Gregory when
Yeah.
you need another tuba player? Could have had Dr. Gregory out there, the two of you could have ran a whole herd of cats out of there.
most people get the hose. He
Yeah.
just got the tuba.
Okay. Last question for you. You're going to be off the hot seat here. If you were a
All right.
sophomore, going to be a junior or senior at UniTec, what program would you select to be involved in?
Oh my gosh. I'd probably take culinary arts because I just am horrible as far as cooking.
Okay.
And I'm not very creative. I mess things up still after all these years. And I think that would really have done me some good.
Would Dan have selected that class for you as well?
Probably. Probably so.
Well, Ellen, you've done a fantastic job.
Thank
Thanks for being
you.
on. Again, sponsored by Jason Cawley and the Outdoor Shop of Flat River. Be sure and like and subscribe to the YouTube digital media channel. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next episode.